Chapter 17. Vitruvian Man. Ryan heard a knock at the back door of the shop and opened it to find another delivery, the 3 heavy-duty stepper motors that Madison had been waiting for. This meant that they had everything they needed to begin the untwisting. Ryan signed for the package and hurried over to join Madison and Natalie. "Merry Christmas," he said, and set the heavy box on a plastic folding table. "Just in time," said Madison as she hurried to examine the parts. "The computer and motor controllers are ready. We just have to plug them in and calibrate everything." They spent the next few minutes installing the motors. As soon as they finished, Natalie carefully spread a blue plastic tarp on the floor beneath the armillary. "What's that for?" asked Ryan with a sinking feeling in his stomach. "Daniel says there's an 80% chance that you'll vomit during the process," Natalie said. "Are we absolutely sure we have to do this first? I don't like—" "What? You don't like things that spin around?" said Madison with a grin. "No, I don't. Ever since the teacup ride," said Ryan firmly. He briefly recalled the wonderful morning he spent with his parents at the amusement park and how the afternoon was completely ruined by that ride. Ryan's face flushed, and his ears suddenly felt warm at the nauseating memory. "Oh, this is going to be a lot worse than the teacup ride," said Madison ominously. "At least that only goes around and around and around." She was slowly twirling an extended finger in the air. "Around one axis. You might even be upside down for a lot of this ride." She laughed. "Oh." She reached into her pocket and brought out a small paper square with a bulge in the center. "What's this?" "Dramamine," both Natalie and Madison said in unison. "You should take it," said Madison. "I'm not going first," protested Ryan. "It's either that or you wait for us, all the while knowing your turn is coming. All that time, you'll see us spinning and spinning and puking and flipping and spinning." She shrugged. "If you go first, it'll all be over before you know it, and you can go take a nice nap." She took him by the hand and led him to the vertical inner ring. Her hand was soft and warm. Her touch distracted him briefly, and Ryan felt much better, until he stepped up to the inside of the curved edge. It rotated slightly, and he fell back against the safety netting covering the innermost ring. Natalie finished smoothing the tarp beneath Ryan, and Madison jogged off toward the bathroom. "We'll have to secure you with these Velcro straps," said Natalie, as she bound his wrists and ankles. "Otherwise, if you were to let go and fall, it might be dangerous." "Lovely," said Ryan with dread. "It's really because I'm pretty sure you're going to pass out," shouted Madison through the open doorway to the bathroom. "We have a bet," she said, and returned using a mop handle to push a yellow industrial-sized janitor's bucket. "Oh, no," said Ryan. The color was quickly draining from his face. "It's not looking good for you, Natalie. You're going to owe me lunch for sure. I think I'll order some nice greasy pork chops." "He's still conscious?" Natalie said optimistically, and stepped back to inspect her work. Madison took her seat in front of the keyboard attached to the control computer, which received data from the spectrum analyzer and fed commands to the motors. She tapped a short command and hit the Enter key. The machine lurched as each motor sought its default setting. Ryan rotated until he was horizontal and facing the ceiling. "Well, this isn't that bad," said Ryan optimistically. "We have to reset the defaults," said Madison with a wink. "What did you eat for breakfast?" "Oh, never mind, we'll see it in a few minutes." The motors moved much more slowly as they rotated Ryan back to an upright position. "We'll try one twist first before we set it to automatic," she said, and entered another command. Ryan rotated on the up-down axis until his back was to them and continued around until he was facing them once again. "You know what you look like?" Natalie said. "You look like that Da Vinci drawing. You know, the one with the naked guy inside a circle with his arms out?" "Can we just get on with this, please?" complained Ryan. He felt about this ordeal the same way he felt while sitting in the dentist's chair, impatient. "Beginning automated mode now," said Madison formally as she started the program. Ryan began to tumble slowly like a sock in a clothes dryer. He was fine for the first few turns, but soon began to moan. His first contribution hit the blue tarp after about a minute. The second time he vomited a moment later was timed perfectly to send it on a trajectory toward the expensive equipment. "Crikey, Jiminy, Ryan!" shouted Madison. "Oh, that's foul," said Natalie, covering her mouth and looking a bit green herself. Madison quickly paused the program and ran upstairs for an umbrella to defend against future assaults. Ryan had fainted. Ryan, Madison, and Natalie had expected to need some time to recuperate after their ordeal, and they were all relaxing in 3 soft, leather recliners. "I don't think I've ever felt this good," said Ryan enthusiastically. "I know. It's amazing," said Madison. "I feel like I can do anything." They turned to look at Natalie, but she seemed unchanged and merely shrugged. The recliners were Natalie's latest purchase. Madison and Ryan had watched with curiosity as she demonstrated a nearly magical ability to speak into her phone without even dialing, and receive anything from food to a change of clothing in minutes. These deliveries usually arrived in the hands of a breathless, wide-eyed teenager anxious to know if they had won. The game was originally Fate's idea. Whenever Natalie needed something ordinary, she posted a request by speaking to the app on her phone. The default reward began at $4 million and reduced by half with each passing minute. Participants purchased the requested items using a single-use credit card number and rushed to the finish line, which was Natalie's location wherever she happened to be at the time. The first contestant to arrive would receive the remainder of the diminishing reward. All the others could keep the purchases as consolation prizes. Fate got the idea after Natalie complained that it took too long to perform mundane tasks when she had more important things to do. He said it dovetailed nicely into his latest obsession with redistributing his acquired wealth. He was adamant that it should not simply go to the needy. Fate hated that term. "It's too simplistic. Need is easy," he had said. "Anyone can generate need simply by being thoughtless or lazy. Deserve is the real target." The winners of Natalie's game were rewarded for ingenuity and resourcefulness. She once had to give a $2 million reward for a fast food sandwich. The clever winner had noticed a pattern and anticipated her request. Natalie wondered how many stale fish sandwiches that girl had to eat before her big payoff. Although she enjoyed the game, it turned out to be a complete failure at redistributing Fate's massive wealth. Fate was forced to give in to Natalie's pleas to widen the tents, as she called it. Initially elated at the prospect of housing the homeless and feeding the hungry, she soon felt constrained by his new rules. Natalie was given the latitude to distribute funds to anyone in need, so long as it could be determined that their need was derived from random chance. Anyone in trouble as a result of their own conscious choice, or, as was far more common, from a failure to plan for an obvious threat, did not qualify. This meant that, for example, people who stubbornly returned to live at the base of a volcano after an eruption got no help from Fate. Natalie was disappointed to find that the vast majority of the population of the world lived near such places, volcanoes, fault lines, and flood zones. However, one natural disaster stood apart from the rest. They gave almost no warning, and nowhere was safe from tornadoes. Natalie had found how addictive it could be to chase a thunderstorm in an armored truck filled with cash. Before Fate's latest emergency, she had spent the last 3 months of U.S. tornado season on only 4 hours of sleep per night.